What is up, guys? Again, NotTheWorst here, bringing another Black Desert online video, and we are once again taking a look at this week's Global Lab updates. I don't cover these every single week. It's just that in the last few weeks, the updates have had some very cool things added, so I want to at least talk about them a bit. So let me go ahead and get to the points that matter. There's really one, which is in the title, so you already see that coming. But composing, playing, no one cares, whatever. Updates to the Institute. They're adding things so that you can actually use testing on the test server. There's some class changes, especially with some succession skills and that sort of thing. We do have Breakthrough added. This was mentioned before a while back. We saw this Velsheart Breakthrough. It's a little bit wonky because of the translation for me to fully understand this, and I don't know a lot of background on what the plan with this kind of thing is. But from what I'm understanding, you can break through Velsheart into a Khan's Heart, and it grants the stats that match each of the different Khan's Heart categories, because it has 3, and then grants 5 random stats. A little bit confusing when you try and read it here, but for instance, the destruction one says damage 1 to 3 hit. Not really sure what that is, if that's maybe AP, 1 to 3 AP amounts. 5 to 12 ignore knockback, 1 to 5% floating resist, 1 to 5% ignore knockdown bound resist, 1 to 5 ignore catch resistance, probably resistance penetration. Stun stiff ice resistance 1 to 5, down attack damage 1 to 5%. That's pretty awesome. Air attack damage 1 to 5, back attack damage 1 to 5, critical chance 1 to 3, and crit damage 1 to 3% added as well. I don't know if like the ones that are listed like this, if it's maybe it's air attack damage or back attack damage and it's a roll. Not too sure, but we'll see as this starts to be a thing, what's kind of going on. That's just destruction one. There's also the defensive one and then the life skill one as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as that gets released. Then here's what we are very interested in. We have the update to the price amounts for junk items that are dropped in these zones here. We got Naga Temple, Bashams, Fogans, Crescents, Shira Ruins, Gahas, Kadri, Fatis, Polyforest, Wargon, the Bloodwolf Village, Bazi, Centaurs, Piliku, Sulphur Mine, Sherkhan Necropolis at night and day, both, Poly's Forest, and Mancham Forest. Now, it says just percentage-wise between 10% to 75%. I did get a note in Discord. Shout out to Limex in my Discord. He actually broke down each of the ones and checked the trash loot and sent a little spreadsheet for it, but now we have cleaner ones that actually have the percentage since I've had that, so we're going to use this one that you see here. If you're looking at these values, the ones that are like 75%, seeing Kadri went from, Nagas going from 1,000 to 1,750. Centaurs is a 50% increase, 75% at Basham up to 1925. Kadri going up to 2,100 to 75%. The Shira Ruins is also a 75% increase up to 2,000 in trash loot. Mancham's picked up an 800, which is a 10% increase, but considering how much people grind there, I mean, this trash loot is just better than your Ackman trash loot base level, which is kind of crazy. For that, then we've got Poly's Force getting a little bit of a 20% increase here for those going up. And yeah, anyways, you can check out the chart. I'll link to it in the below if you want to check specific ones for it. This is pretty huge for grinding. This doesn't have any of the, I guess what I would call end game spots. Histria, Ackman, I forget that Krugtug is a thing because it's terrible, but it does exist and is not here. Stars End, Secrea, Abyss, that sort of thing. We also don't see the upper Secrea or Prodi Cave in there, which just kind of further nerfs those places into oblivion. If these places are all continuing to be buffed and trash loot specifically going up, that's pretty huge in general. This is going to have pretty insane implications for the 20-hour grind videos and that sort of thing. The values obviously will increase pretty drastically. I have a breakdown of the new setup for Bloodwolf that was going to come out today, but decided to put this video out first. And I'm breaking over 15,000 trash loot with the changes they had to Bloodwolf, with the not having as many of the other mobs that drop the bad trash loot there. Over 15,000, so getting what was Bloodwolf 50% increase on this. Yeah, 48.3. That's a huge impact. Getting an additional, I think it's like 30 mil-ish that I'm getting now, somewhere around 30 mil. So yeah, to get a 50% increase on that's pretty nutty. Just trash loot alone, you're talking 45 mil in trash loot for that type of spot, and that's just one that's a 50% increase. So yeah, I'll definitely have to break these down, update the spreadsheets, and then put out some videos kind of going over the spots I've already covered before. Since I already have the data for it, all I need to do is update the new trash values. But this is kind of huge, especially for like middle geared players that aren't doing high end spots, or even higher geared players that don't always feel like going to a high-end spot and you'd want to just kind of kick back and get your grind on in a low-level spot. This is pretty insane. I imagine this is to try and keep along in line with what's been going on with life skilling and that sort of thing to keep it somewhat competitive. Also curious, what does that mean for high-end grind spots? Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up finding instances where it makes more sense to grind some of these zones with loot scrolls than it does some of the high-end spots if they're not later adjusted. Obviously, you don't have the crazy high-end drops like tongue grads and whatnot in these areas, but if you're getting consistent trash loot numbers that are like through the roof, it's going to be really interesting to see when we go through those spreadsheets and kind of see what ends up happening. Again, this is just on the test server. This isn't even on the KR servers yet, so this isn't live. We don't know when it'll go live, if it will at all. We'll kind of have to keep an eye on this one as well and then see. So there's that anyways. So wanted to let you guys know what was going on with that. Pretty exciting change to see. Pretty cool. It might just cause a bit of inflation if it does go live, but that's what the test server is for. We'll kind of see how it plays out. And when I say the test server, I mean when it rolls out live on the KR server, we'll actually get a feel for what the implications will be to the market, because we don't really actually test things on the test server much. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to like it if you did enjoy it. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you get notifications when new videos do go live. And if you want to catch me playing live, you can jump on over to the Twitch page. There's a link in the description below. Head on over there and drop a follow so you get notifications for that. With that said, that's going to be it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.